Again, we can go into the backstory of the incident with the teenager. Ja's claiming self-defense, that the teenager threw the ball in his face. We can go into the incident at the mall when he yelled at his security guard. We can go into the incident with the Indiana Pacers traveling party. As far as we know, all of these things have been investigated and no law has been broken. I'm not condoning the behavior. I'm not saying there should be no punishment. There should be. There should be consequences. You are the face of the league. You are representing the NBA. You are a role model to young kids. All of that. I don't think half a season is the right answer. And the last point I want to make is you bring this up, the guns on social media. We talk about consequences. Look, in our country right now, gun culture is pervasive. It's pervasive. We've got mass shooting after mass shooting, and nobody's doing a damn thing about it. So I get why we're so sensitive to this right now. But there's no consequence for Greg Abbott telling his constituents that they should go buy more guns, and then we have mass shooting after mass shooting in Texas. There's no consequence for an elected Tennessee official to send out a Christmas card holding AR-15s with his young family, and then there's a shooting in his very district. There's no consequences to that. So why are we trying to lay down the hammer on a 23-year-old who didn't break a law? Explain that to me.
Part of the stuff, but man, I'm seeing these fools on television talking about he should hold his ground, talking about I didn't break any laws. I'm like, see, you guys ain't never made no money. So y'all can say, I want to make a point. Hell no, I want that $100, $200 million.
Yo, so I wasn't going to even get back on this subject, but I had to say I had to do something because I was watching the game, and before they did the game, of course, they talked about the obvious situation with Ja Wick, and that was Charles Barkley responding to JJ Redrick. Now, JJ Redrick, and look, I like JJ Redrick. He's a player-friendly kind of guy. He's always on ESPN giving Stephen A. and them the business. He's usually in favor of the players, and usually got good takes. But he went that you know, I'm gonna agree with. I'm gonna try to fit in and push that pro player narrative, and this wasn't the time for it. It was that liberal white boy, I'm going to agree with everybody else. I'm trying to get that cookout pass type of thing. It's like, you ever see them talk like social issues on Undisputed? Shannon will do the whole monologue and then Skipper, I agree with everything you just said, Shannon. It's so cringe. It's like, bro, really? Like, you agree with everything we say, even socially, really? A 70-year-old white man? But nonetheless, like that liberal, I'm going to agree with everything. Like, no, it's beyond breaking a law. It's not about that. It's a morality clause in your contract. You are a part of a corporation. That's why I was glad Shaq and Charles, two guys that are Hall of Famers, when they retired, when Charles retired, he was a top 50 player all the time. When Shaq retired, he was in most people's top 10. Now, he might be bounced out of some people's top 10 now because certain players have emerged since he retired, like Steph Curry, for example. But, you know, these are respected. How do they feel watching some of these role players? And no disrespect, but that's what JJ Reddick was. He was a role player. He came off the bench. He could give you a couple threes off the bench. You know, he was a wingman. That's what he was. But got in the NFL Network, they got Dan Orlovsky. You know, he was a scrub backup quarterback. But these guys are the quote-unquote experts that sit here and push the narrative weekly and daily on sports media. It's got to drive some of these guys crazy that are in sports media, like Isaiah Thomas, Shaq, Charles, real great players. And they sitting here looking at these other guys, and Charles is like, hold up, you ain't never made no money like that. You ain't made no money. Like, you was never on the cover of no billboards. This is generational money right here that this boy could be fumbling, and you sitting here talking about laws not being broken or whatnot. Like, there's no morality clause in the contract. When you got your face all over tickets and shit like that, when 90% of the people in the building are there because of you, it's different. And so when you see some of these role players like Steven Jackson and JJ Reddick or whoever else, come on, like, y'all ain't never been in that position. Ever. Why not go for the whole bag if you got it? Meanwhile, endorsements is dropping left and right. Next thing you know, Bags, he already lost 39 mil because you didn't make the NBA all NBA team. So you already got that going on. But yeah, that's what JJ Reddick, Charles Barkley. Let me know what y'all think. See what's going on.